Welcome everybody. Welcome to the What the Football channel. This is the BH and Scrubber show. And today we're going to be doing a recap of the Eagles game. Plus we're going to be doing a preview of the upcoming Bears game because it's a quick turnaround. The Bears game is on Thursday. Speaking of that, we are also going to have the play-by-play live reaction show at 8:15, I think it is, on Thursday night where we
Yep.
here at What the Football, we're going to do a reaction show. We'll call it Play by Play. Please come. It's a lot of fun. We had a great time during that Eagles game. And speaking of the Eagles game, welcome, BH.
Hey, man. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. We got some people there. A lot of people were watching at one point. I think the most we ever had. So we got up to 22, a new
Woo!
personal best. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, that the bitter ending. Um, I don't know what to say. That game, you always say it's a divisional game. When it's divisional, you can throw everything out the window, records, injuries, no one cares. It's just one of those things where they go, and that's what we did, went tooth and nail with those guys. And man, I wish we could have won that game. Um, as far as the defense, we can nitpick. I mean, they put up a lot of points, but at the end of the day, they're the Eagles. That's a
Yeah,
that's a Super Bowl. They went to the Super Bowl last year, dude. They're going to
yeah.
put up a lot of points on a lot of teams. And our offense, that's a good defense. So the flip side is we put a lot of points up on them. That's a top-notch D.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and just I guess overall, just really proud of Sam Howell. I mean, let's be honest. After the Bills game, we're all scratching our head, wondering, hey, has this guy got what it takes? He took a beating. The whole team, the offensive line, and we've talked about it, and a lot of people are talking about it. How that last drive, he went down there with one timeout, and then slung with 1 second left. He just looked cool, man. And that's how you test everybody in the world at every job, at everything in life is, you know, don't tell me how you're doing where, show me how you're doing when everything's going great. Show me how you react when shit's falling down and there's a lot of pressure. Um, that's on the road. That place must have been louder than hell,
Mm-hmm.
just screaming Eagles fans, and he pulled it off. So real proud of him. Um, so yeah, what did you think? One thing I was really curious. We have not talked about this, but
Mm-mm.
what did people talked about the two going for the 2 points at that point. What was your thought overall? I didn't even consider it, to be honest with you. But no, in
Neither did I.
retrospect,
Yeah.
should we
Um.
have, or what do you
Uh.
think?
My thinking while I was in the game was kick the extra point and take the point and give everybody a rest. And that's just what I was thinking. I know some people say that going for it on uh, get the 2 points, finish the game off. They're tired, you're tired. You might as well take that one-time shot and get the hell out of there. Some people, in hindsight, you're thinking, well, you got a short week before Thursday. You're asking them to extend a little bit. But I was during the game was kick that point, just make that
Yeah,
point, and then we'll take whatever happens after that. And we got lucky on the coin flip, and we just couldn't make it happen. And there was still many things happened in this game that could have steered the game in either direction on both sides of the ball, both teams. You can point to this, that, and the other about what caused what and what didn't cause what, but they did what they did, and I thought it was the right call. I really did. And
yeah,
people say, "Oh, he's not Riverboat Ron." Well, he went on fourth and one a couple times and got him. You know what I mean? No, I
yeah,
didn't hear anybody pointing that out. So, except I thought it was
yeah.
stupid the way they went about it, but with the whole Logan Thomas under center thing, and I thought that was the whole reason why. And no one I've heard anybody say this either. Is I thought that's what we got Jacoby Brissett to do, right? That's his thing, ain't he?
Yeah,
It's like 6'3" or 6'4". He towers over Sam Howell. He's freaking huge.
yeah.
And so I don't see why they didn't use that. I mean, I know that he's coming out to do it, but I think the Browns used to use him for that, or someone used to use him for that. So
Yeah. I guess maybe with Logan's height and extra weight, and maybe the element of surprise because no one would think he would run under center, I guess.
It didn't work the second time.
Yeah, I know.
We got lucky.
Yeah, I thought about. Yeah, I kind of wish, since someone had pointed that out and hadn't thought of it, I guess I wish they'd been more aggressive when they got the ball because 3 and out is not good. You know what I mean? I mean, at least get one first down.
Right.
And I think Tress, first time in forever let us down. What was that? A 26-yard punt or something?
Yeah, 29-yard punt. And everybody shit all over him. I'm like, hey, man, these people, I swear, you read their little blurbs when it's on their YouTube thing. Oh, Commanders screw up. Oh, we need to fire this guy. Don't listen to those people. Tressway got a bad punt. I mess up. You mess up. We all mess up, and it was at a clutch time. I forgive the guy. He's always money with us. It's just a bad punt. And plus our special teams, our gunners aren't doing that great anyways. I mean, returns against our team have been crazy. We're probably last place in that. So, and you could point to, Jahan Dobson dropped the ball on that 1 3rd down. There's lots of things you could point to, you know what I'm saying? And I would even say on that last, when we got the ball in the overtime, the very first play we run was B-Rob to the right, and he got no gain. Dude, that whole game, every single time we ran to the right was for nothing with B-Rob. I mean, almost every single time, nothing. So to me, you can point to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could point to on that last, the Eagles had the ball 3rd and 16, 3rd and 17. They were out of field goal range. And then we just played him super soft. He tossed it underneath the middle, and they got close enough for that field goal. You could blame that. I mean, I heard people saying, oh, fire Del Rio. He called a shitty game. They did great. I'm happy with the whole game. I thought everybody did good.
Yeah.
The refs were for us. The refs were against us. The refs were for them and against them. It works in both directions, all the way down the line. And so I don't really point to those things too hard. I thought the guys played a great game.
Yeah.
A really, really great game. I called the game. Dude, that was I need a defibrillator the next time, man. I thought I had a heart attack there at one time. I was like, oh my God. But great game.
It was true. Especially that last play, man. That was insane in the end zone with 1 second. But I agree, man. I mean, that was a divisional game. It was a back and forth. It was like, it's 2 heavyweights just throwing haymakers. No one's backing down. Like I said, and not just going to the right side, but I just felt just not creative. I mean, look, this is overtime. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you go 6 wide. Mm-hmm. Empty backfield on first down, but a little quick play action to a high percentage throw. Let them know, hey, we're not just going to run, and that's another thing. It's such a trademark, with Turner and Ron being so conservative so many times. It's like, dude, that is not the time to be conservative, especially against the Eagles.
Yep.
You give the ball to the Eagles in overtime and good night.
Yep.
That's
when
the
it
Eagles.
Only needs to be a field goal.
The Bills, the Chiefs. Yep. Dude, a matter of fact, if it on 3rd, we might as well have gone for it or you know what I mean, on 4th down, because the statistics bear up against those teams. Yeah, they're going to go down and get a field goal. End of story. So, I think be a little more creative and deliberate in that situation, man. Come on, don't just run it up the middle. And like you said, you were screaming all game. Don't go to the right side. Just forget it. Every time they went, they got crushed.
Yeah.
So, like you, man, I got no gripes. I would say, Sam Howell did great. Jahan made up for the drop.
He did.
I mean, that catch, man, they were all over him right in traffic. And props to Howell for just putting that ball in there. He trusted Jahan, and Jahan snagged it. And so that was awesome.
Terry McLaurin
what can you say?
Played good for us. Terry caught some good passes. Diamond Brown caught a couple great ones.
Diami is, we've seen Diami in these weeks. He's getting his play for the first time, right? He seems to be getting some play. I mean, he was like a ghost when he first 2 years. It was like he didn't exist. Yeah. So having Diami there, out there catching, I think, Logan now he did good, and now he's poor Logan had that whole year off. I mean, 2 years almost, with that leg injury. And then he gets that cheap shot concussion. It's like he keeps getting knocked back. But I tell you, if that guy could just get a few weeks of health, he's looking like the real deal.
He is.
I mean, he's like top 10. He's a top 10 tight end. But so, I mean, there's a lot of good things. Sam really proved himself. We weren't doubting Sam, but we're honest. He did. There was a bit of a meltdown. But let's just say now we know that Bills team is for real.
Yes.
Because they punched Miami in the mouth, man.
Exactly.
There was,
that gives you some good hindsight. Okay, sure, we took a beating, but look at what they did to Miami too. And so that kind of eases that pain a little bit. A little.
Exactly. And you know what? Maybe on film, I talked about it, a little intimidation. You watch those guys on film all week and you see things and you're like, God, these guys are good. Mm-hmm. Wow. And sometimes you rise to the occasion and maybe we were a little intimidated because, man, you look at that team and go, man, there's a lot of good players to take care of. And, it happens. You might get a little bit, and in football, like in a life, you got to be 100% committed, man. Yeah. You better be ready to, or what's going to happen is like what happened to us. We got motorboated. Yeah. And really, when you look at how well we played the Eagles, there's no reason to get kicked that bad by Buffalo. I still feel like there's a little mentalness, but that's the part of growing. It's a new offense. It's a new quarterback. The team is, we're going to learn from that. I mean, we don't want to, what do they call those wins where we lost, but it was still a win because we learned so much. I hate that stuff. But at the end of the day, hey, we lost and I think we'll learn from it. So
and we did. I thought the Eagles was a bounce back game. Didn't win, but it was a bounce back game. We looked a hell of a lot better than we did against the Bills, in my opinion.
And had to go on the road to do it. Yeah. I mean, really, we were talking about that's about as dark. When you lose like we did, then you got to go on the road to the defending NFC Super Bowl team. I mean, that's pretty dark, man. You're like going, man, I wish we were going to play Atlanta that week, but we're not. So anything else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else that stood out. I will say this. I'm looking at a lot of PFF grades. I know a lot of people honking out there. We got the worst O-line in the world, and we don't. Probably around 19 or 20 out of 32 teams. That's not bad. I mean, it's not the worst, and it certainly needs to get better, but we're not the worst. People say we always play, zone coverage. We always play zone. We're middle of the pack, and last year, middle of the pack, zone and man. We mix it up. We're not the worst. There's some teams that play a ton of zone coverage, dude, and we're not one of them. So people are so misinformed out there. Mm-hmm. I think they need to go watch some other games. Go watch some other teams. Guess what? They always say the O-line, he doesn't give Sam any time. He's always running. Do you think go watch another game, watch the quarterback. Do you think they have 8 seconds back there to look around and pick the guy they want to? No, 3.5 seconds, and it's throw or bail. It's everybody, man. That's the NFL. But I think teams only watch the Commanders, only focus on that, and they see that. And it is crazy. It is crazy how little time a quarterback has to set, make a decision, and throw. But that's the NFL. And so they always make our line just out like it's the worst line. It's the worst this. But our line is doing pretty good.
I thought so.
One thing is, I think one thing that's disappointing, though, is I will say this as a group of receivers, PFF, and I don't take PFF as gospel, Pro Football Focus, but they're very good, and they grade everybody along the same scale. Mm-hmm. So, with that, you got it's like if you're testing out cars for safety, for speed, for reliability, as long as you have the same scale that you're judging them at, you might not be 100% accurate, but you'd be close. So the same with them. But our receiving core, they need to step up a little bit. They're a little bit down in the rankings. And in other words, our D-line, not terrible, but boy, when you got 4 first rounders and that amount of money that you're spending, our D-line they're good, but they've got to be better. Just like our wide receivers. There's nothing wrong with them. But, dude, you're better than that. That's what I say. I say you got to do better. Yeah. And 2 guys that really need to improve, and I like them both a lot. I'm a little disappointed is Forbes, our first-round pick. We saw him get toasted and stuff. And so it was a rough day for him. He's had some rough games, and he's had some highlights. He's done good, but overall, it's been a little rough. And Cody Barton still continues to struggle mostly. And here's another thing: Cody Barton is worse at run defense than pass defense, believe it or not. Now he doesn't have a great I know he doesn't have a great pass defense, but overall they see him in the passing game. The run game, he has a terrible 29.8 rating. And I went and I watched a little bit, and you see it reminded me of Jamin when they first put Jamin in the middle, how he just was slow. Remember we were saying he was slow to react, or he got washed out.
Yeah.
You're 1/2 second behind, and here comes the line, right? And you just get washed out of the play, or you take the wrong angle to the play. And I see a lot of that with Cody.
Yeah.
He's got to get better. But you know what? Cody Barton has played every snap of every play of every game. The guy is he's 100%er. Yeah. So
I didn't know
they must see something. Yeah. They must see something in him. But boy, so Cody's got to step up. Now it's 4 games in. So anyway, I just wanted to point out those two guys. And I'm not killing them. I'm not bashing them. I'm just saying that's just keeping it real. I like both of them, but come on, guys, you two got to step up.
Yeah.
So,
one of the things I'll say about Forbes is keep your fucking mouth shut. You're a rookie. You're going up against some big time players, a big time quarterback, and a big time team. And you're sitting there jacking your jaw. And I don't know what he said, like on TikTok or whatever the fuck that shit is, but you keep your fucking mouth shut. You just play the game. Don't do this fly, Eagles, fly when you make a good play, because you know what that does? That just makes you look stupid as stupid can be. Don't do that shit. Don't dance on the opponent's thing in the middle of the field. Don't do their little thing. Don't do that. B-Rob was doing it too, and he almost paid a price for it. I think that's part of what happened.
Yeah, don't do that stuff.
He thinks he's bigger than he is, and boy, he got shut down big time. They shut his mouth quick, and so he was getting angry and he was getting mad because he's with the big boys now. Just play your game. Let your actions speak for you, and then after the game, say all the fuck you want. I don't care. I hate that whole end zone dancing and all that stuff. Back in the day, the guy who scored the touchdown, spike the ball, high five everybody, and roll out the field. I would much rather see that. Just much rather see that.
Yeah, me too.
Rowing boats and doing whatever the dumb shit they do. Nobody likes that. Nobody. Go ahead and ask any NFL fan in the world, hey, do you think that's cool? No, it's stupid. Get off the field. You know what I'm saying? Get back in the huddle.
And if you're, I don't even like when they run to the camera. The first time someone did that, early days, that was pretty funny, man. The whole team ran down and did it. And now it's just a thing to do. Don't do it. And another thing is, don't give your opponent something to get mad about. Don't make fun of them. Don't do it. It just keeps their head in the game. You've got a guy who's almost beat, who's almost like, this thing's done. And then you make fun of him. Yeah. And what happens in real life, right? Someone makes fun of you. You suck it up and you're like, oh, really? That's how this is going to go? This is how you're going to be? Okay. Yeah. And why do like Jerry Rice? Jerry Rice would catch his 4th touchdown and he didn't even spike it. Yeah. He turned and flipped it to the ref because you know why? He was a cold-blooded killer. He demoralized guys. He didn't talk any trash to them. He just demoralized them. He didn't turn around and laugh at them. He just made their life a living hell. He just kept coming and kept coming. We need more of that, man. No more of this fly, Eagles fly, dancing on their logo. Any of that crap, dude. If that's what you need to get going, do something else.
Here's the thing about that too. If you're concentrating on that, that means that a certain percentage of your concentration on the game is being taken away. If that takes up 3% of your concentration because you're thinking about the TikTok dance or whatever you're saying on YouTube or Twitter or whatever, that means you're not concentrating on the game. And look what happened to Forbes at the end of the game. Fucking A.J. Brown caught that ball, and while he was sitting on the ground, he dropped it right in his lap. Ow. Did you? And when he got that almost cost the Eagles because he dropped it in his lap, and it did cost them. Because they had the kid from 15 yards farther back. Yeah. Gibby caught the ball at about the 10 and ran for a 29-yard return and put us in really good position. So, yeah.
So there's 2 guys, even on their side. There's 2 guys, our guy Forbes and their guy's Brown.
Yep.
Lost the plot And like you said, lost focus. And what happened? Who did that cost the team?
Mm-hmm.
If they'd lost that game,
Yeah.
ooh, people would have been really talking. You know how when you win, we forget about that. But
Yeah.
if they had lost that game,
Yeah.
boy, those Philadelphia sports writers, they'd have been
Yeah.
jacking him up because that was pure 100% taunting right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
That was an easy
definitely.
call.
Yeah.
That was an easy taunt. Some of those taunting calls are a little ticky tack. So
Yeah.
anyway, well, enough of that. It was a great game. I think
was.
these two games, Buffalo and Eagles, this team learned a lot about themselves and learned a lot about what it takes to win because those teams are going to be in the playoffs without a doubt.
Yep.
So
we're 2-2. So that's
Yeah.
where we expected to be at this point in the season, anyways.
yeah, we talked about it. And now we expect to be 3-2.
Exactly. So coming up, we got the Bears
Yeah, baby.
Thursday night. I remember last year's game. Ugh, that was a fucking horror show, dude. That was terrible. I
It
mean, we
was.
won got 12-7, and man, they almost came down at the very end. All they needed was a touchdown, and they would have beat us. And it came down to that very, very last play of I think St. Just. You know, their guy caught it midair. He's within the touchdown, but St. Just caught him, pushed him back out. The guy was bobbling the ball. His elbow
Yeah.
touches out of bounds as the clock is their fourth down. And just too close. That was a crappy
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, and you know, kind of unfortunately, man, we're doing the same thing now. I mean, against two teams, you know, Arizona's a little better than we thought. I've been watching them last couple of weeks. That's not
Mhm.
a bad football team, but
Mhm.
we shouldn't have been that close. And in Denver and that awful defense, horrible. We shouldn't have been that close. So once we've talked about this before, we always talk about it. We play down to our opponent, no matter who it is. It's going to be a nail biter.
Mhm.
You know, but like you said, we always complain. What, you can't win 31-10? There's no law that says you can't.
Right,
You know?
exactly. You
There's
can't get
nothing-
out
and-
front by 2.5 touchdowns.
Yeah, people
by
do
the
it
half.
all the time. I know there's a lot of close games in the NFL. Don't get me wrong, but man, there's plenty of times, and so yeah, I worry about that considering that last game in our history, and it's real. That's a real thing, and we're not the kind of guys that are going, we should beat these guys by 40. You know, you talked about it. Oh, we should win by this or that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about letting all teams off the hook. Hey, we had a good lead on the Eagles, and we let it go away.
Mhm.
So once again, get a lead and keep it. Maybe
Mhm.
even add to it. What
Yeah.
a concept. So
Yeah.
So well, what do you think?
Well, I think we have an
like-
opportunity to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to go the route of thinking it's a walkover, but we got a chance. And this time it's a Thursday night game again against the Bears, but this time it's here and not in Chicago. So that's a big thing, and it's sold out again. And I believe we're going to be wearing the blackout. We're going to be wearing the all
good.
black. I like that uniform. It's pretty awesome. And I think we have the tools it takes to beat these guys. They're struggling. They got a great offense. I mean, Justin Fields is really, really good. They were torching Denver last week. They were beating them. They were 28-7. They were winning like at the half, and then Russell Wilson and them somehow came back. And so, but they got, Justin Fields, and he ran against us hard last year, scored like 90 yards or something. They got DJ Moore. They still got that Mooney guy. Those are threats.
Yep.
Komet, he's a real
Old
threat.
Komet.
What's that running back's name? Is Herbert.
Khalil Herbert.
Khalil Herbert, he's a threat. And so, on that offensive side, you really do have a threat there. I think just containing Fields, we've been covering tight ends real good. We just need our secondary to keep them covered, and our D line should be able to punch through their O line.
Yeah, I think so. I like what you were saying about just about that they actually do have weapons on offense.
Mm-hmm.
They may not be great, but they can do some damage.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have to stop Fields. We actually do a very good job against tight ends. That is one thing that people don't talk about enough. Our defense does real good. Komet's pretty good, especially in the red zone. They like to hit them in the end zone. So, yeah, I think once again, and I said this with the Eagles game, is the front four has got to be able to dominate so that we can keep guys back. We don't have to blitz as much,
Right.
and we can we can zone up on Fields. And that's a great guy to go zone against, confuse him in coverages, especially if you can put pressure on him with 4. He'll be a turnover machine. You know what I mean? Because he's having some issues reading. And so our defense, I think they got to play a lot better, boy. I mean, not just because it's Chicago, but just in general. There's just too many good players on this D not to be able to really, shut. And they're playing good, don't get me wrong, but I just think they should be able to up their game, and especially against this team because they're struggling. So so that's,
they played against the Bills. The Bills were tough and the Eagles were tough. They got great front lines. There's nothing, about that. But we were running 4-man. This is hard for them. They don't seem to like they've gelled yet all the way. And it took them a while in the last few years to get their shit together. They start coming on in the middle of the year, and we've had good win runs in the middle of the year. I mean, we have had that happen before too. So this is their week to shine. We really need them this time.
Yeah, we really do. And just on a little side note, next week I don't know how they're doing in their injury progress, but I think F.A. Obata and Fedarian, I think, can be activated. I think they got a 21-day window or something after the 4-week IR. So the window opens for those two to come on. So that's really good. Not for this game, but starting next week. Yeah. So that's good. That'll help everybody. But for this game, this defense should be able to handle that offense. I just can't see how it could be a problem.
Right. And it's tough coming off the Eagles with only a 4-day turnover. So what would be nice is to go in, beat the Bears, and then get that 10-day, sort of bye week, and take that time off and get ready for the Falcons. So that's what I just look at it in that small kind of window. Got to beat the Bears.
Yep.
Got to handle it. Get that 10 days off, and that should be like a dangling a carrot in front of their nose. Here, you get 10 days off. Take that win. They'll be the darlings. The Eagles and Dallas have tough games to play, and both of them have to travel to the West Coast. Dallas to San Francisco, and the Eagles got to go to L.A.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's why we need to win this one. So.
Yeah, it's really important. You're right. And then, going to Atlanta, which isn't that far away, they play in the Dome. It's not a big trip. So, I mean, it sets us up perfectly.
Yep.
So now we talked about our defense against their offense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think our offense against their defense, the big story, I think, is the injury report, which is they've got their safeties they've got some safeties out. Brisker now is out. They've got some issues in their defensive backfield.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and they are actually not bad against the run, quite frankly. So I'd love to run on them. I don't want to come out. I don't want Howell to throw 49 times. But you know what? It's a team where we can, when we have to.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll run.
Okay. Yeah. I say we can throw on them. So that's the big story. All our guys are healthy, except I think it's the rookie. I think it's Chris Rodriguez is still out, right?
I think so. He was sick. I seen him. He rolled out of the. I thought he went out to practice. He's limited, but I think he has been practicing. So.
Yeah, who knows? He might have had a bad flu, a bad thing in his chest, and they just want to, dry him out, get 100% healthy, because with the flu it can ravage you pretty good. We don't know what he had, but it keeps saying illness. So other than, we're doing really good. We should be able to run and pass. We don't have to score 55 points, but we should be able to do what we want on offense and control this game.
Spread it looking around for like they've been doing.
Yeah, and mistake-free game. So
we didn't have any turnovers last week. That was good.
No.
And the sacks, I could almost
penalties have been kind of an issue.
Penalties are an issue.
Yeah, and that way we cut them by Yeah, we cut the sacks in half.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of them
It went
was
from
like he
10 to 5.
tripped over Leno's foot. That almost kind
Yeah,
of brings it down to 4, although it was close, and none of them were they weren't like too terribly at the wrong time, although any sack is at the wrong time. But yeah, they were just bull rushing our guys. That just happens, man.
yeah,
I don't know what to say about that. So that shouldn't be as big of an issue this time. He did really good on not
no,
turning the ball over. Our running game looked really good and can look good against the Bears. It's just tying it all together.
yep,
Spread the ball around. Don't make those mistakes. God, what was that? Our second drive down the field. We were in scoring position. He threw that one pass. I think his shoulder got hit and it almost got intercepted. That was a heart attack right there. And then we hand off to B Rob and he goes in and he's struggling to get there and the ball pops out of his arm. And thank God McLaurin jumps on it. So there was 2 close ones there that we almost lost. And then we almost had a
yeah,
couple because Forbes could have intercepted that one, but AJ Brown was playing defense on that one. He almost caught it. And then I think we got one of their guys to fumble on a run, but we didn't jump on it. So
yeah,
we did have a couple
right.
opportunities, just didn't get it. So yeah, turnovers, man, we need them.
Yeah, we really do. And this is a team that'll turn the ball over. So, all right, man. Well, cool. What do you
Yeah.
think? Anything else on the plate?
No, just tell everybody to show up tomorrow to the big game. BH is going to be in the chat room. We always have a good time, and just everything is set. There's not much more you can do now. Is just wait for the game. That's it.
Yep. Wait
Not
for the
much more
game,
to
show up
say.
in the chat room, and we'll have a lot of fun. And
Yeah,
then we'll follow up the game in a couple days.
yeah, yeah, yep. Awesome. Thank you so much, BH. Thanks, everybody.
All right.